Hello, and you're back with us on See the Stories, and we're still discussing fasting guidelines for people with diabetes with Dr. Rita. So, Doctor, is it the same guidelines for fasting when it comes to children and adolescents too?
Children and
when it comes to diabetic children and adolescents?
More or less the same, but children with diabetes, most of them are type 1. So it's a very complicated condition, so they need to have an advice from the doctor before.
Right. So talking about people fasting with diabetes, how often actually in a day that we have to monitor our glucose level?
It's different between cases, but mostly first they need to check in the before sahur, before sahur for the blood glucose check, and then 2 hours after the meals. After the meals in the sahur. And then after that, in the midday, around 12 p.m. And then before iftar and 2 hours after iftar. But at any points that when they feel the symptoms of hypo or hyperglycemia, they need to check.
Okay, so what if, because in Indonesia we call it kalap, we cannot control ourselves, right? Eating too much or, just feeling hungry all the time after iftar. And then by accident, our glucose level, skyrockets, right? What urgent action?
I don't think it's by accident, that's by choice.
Well, kalap sometimes you cannot control.
So if the random glucose means that like in the middle of eating, you feel something different with your body, and then you check, oh, my blood glucose getting up more than 400 milligrams. So better you go to the hospital.
Better you go to the hospital straight away.
Yeah. Okay, so doctor, you were mentioning about hypoglycemia and also hyperglycemia. What are the most common symptoms of those two conditions that we need to pay attention to when it comes to fasting?
Hypo means low blood glucose. So the common symptoms is cold sweats.
Cold sweats.
And then palpitation. So you have an increasing heart rate. And then having a headache. That's the most symptoms.
Hyperglycemia?
For the hyperglycemia, can be a little bit the same, but you can also experiencing more frequent urinate. You go to the toilet more often. And then excessive thirstiness. And also having abdominal discomfort can also come from the hyperglycemia.
Abdominal discomfort.
I
see. I just knew about that.
One of the complications of diabetes, we call it diabetic ketoacidosis. That also related with the hyperglycemia condition.
So if there is anyone with diabetes experiencing these symptoms in among the days of them doing the fasting during Ramadan, please just break your fast.
Yes.
Okay, break your fast. So because that might be harmful for you. As Rory just said, people with certain conditions are allowed not to fast according to some regulations in the religion.
According to my ustad. According to your Islamic teaching, right? If you can't do it, you don't have to do it, right? So, Dr. Lita, we actually have 3 pictures. Representing food typically consumed during Ramadan, right? So we need your suggestions regarding the best food that a person with diabetes should consume during Ramadan, because we were talking about a complete food during sahur or iftar, but we haven't break it down. So I'd like to show you these pictures.
Oh my God, this is so good.
So this is, I believe this is chicken.
Yes.
Chicken with
ketchup manis.
Ketchup manis, like a soy sauce, and we've got samur as well. Beef samur.
Beef stew.
Beef stew, that's right. And this one I believe is corn with spinach. Sayur bening. Corn with spinach in Indonesian term. And white rice. Is it allowed during sahur, and is it advisable for people with diabetes, whether it's type 1 or type 2, to take this?
Allowed with a note.
What is the note then?
I hate the word with a note.
Okay, first of all, do you still remember have you ever known about the healthy plate.
Oh, true. Yes.
Yeah.
4 sehat 5 sempurna.
No, that's not a
different.
block anymore.
That's obsolete.
That's invalid for these days.
I feel too old. I feel too old.
It is already being replaced.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that?
If you remember about the healthy plate, the healthy plate representing the portion of the food groups.
Okay.
So the one that should be more in portion is the vegetables.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay.
That one okay, but if you compare with the cup of the rice,
This is just too much.
yes.
Oh, how do you have to divide it into? Like this is one full portion. What is the tolerance level? Like a half, a third, a fourth of it?
If you want to have the portion of the vegetable like that, so the rice that allowed to be consumed is a half of the cup of the vegetables.
Okay, half of this.
Yes.
Right. So the rice has to be half of this. What
Yeah.
about this?
For the
chicken
protein, yeah.
And also beef stew.
Okay, so for the protein, it also having a same proportion with the rice. So a quarter, and a half of vegetables.
Okay.
Wait, so ketchup mayonnaise is also allowed to be consumed by people with diabetes?
Yes. That's also considering the 25 grams of sugar.
What if I still feel hungry, doctor? This is just small portion. What if I still hungry?
If you're still hungry, you can add up the vegetable portion.
The vegetables portion.
So
And also, after you have the sour menu, you can also have the fruit, the cut fruit after this.
Okay.
Oh, cut
And don't
fruit.
forget the water.
The water.
Okay.
And also
At least two cups of water.
Right.
how about the beef stew? Is it allowed?
Yes, allowed.
Okay.
That's loud.
It's a protein.
Okay. Now next move to the second picture, shall we? So for the second picture, we've got right. We've got kolak.
No way.
Right. This is the traditional dessert.
Are we okay? Can we
Maju
have
dates, you
those
only-
food here now?
Actually, Dr. Lita also mentioned about majur
Dates.
dates, but only one majur dates during iftar. And this is like
Fritters.
fries.
Fritters.
Oh, but we've got tempeh and also
tahu.
tofu,
Yeah.
right? And we've got this green banana or pisang ijo from Makassar or South Sulawesi. And we've got es teler. These are sweet and also oily food. What do you think about this?
Of course, you will not have all of this
In one sitting.
yeah,
you
please.
cannot.
In a day, you
Not
can
in one
only
sitting.
have a half of
half,
kolak
yeah,
or
yeah.
a half of pisang ijo
Yes.
or es teler, right? In one day.
Or.
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 And. Okay.
It's not an but it's
Yeah.
or.
Yeah.
It's an alternative, right? Only half portion of it. What about this soup?
Those okay. For the dates, we agree that you can have one big portion of majul dates in the iftar. And for the fritters, actually that one will not affect your blood glucose.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
Really?
But will
Because
affect your
it-
belly.
Yeah.
Love handle.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It will not affect your blood glucose.
for
Actually.
tempeh and tofu, it will not affect
Yeah.
anything on your blood sugar.
Yeah.
Right. So it is safe, yeah?
It's safe.
Unless if you cook it like, for example, for kering tempe, because they put palm sugar in it.
Yeah.
Palm sugar and also
correct.
ketchup mayonnaise.
Correct,
It's also soy sauce. Is it
Yeah.
also prohibited or is it allowed in a certain portion?
Allowed in a certain portion because it also we need to consider as the 25 gram
Of added sugar.
of added sugar per day.
Okay.
But that's for the well-controlled diabetes.
Okay. So that's the, what do you call it? That's the ground that we have to grip onto, 25 grams per day for added sugar. Next picture, please. Okay. Okay.
Dinner.
This is noodle, fried noodle with chicken, I believe, and risoles, right? Fried risoles, and also tempeh and tofu as well.
What do you think?
I would just
No,
eat it.
just no.
You
I
of
would just
course.
eat it.
No. Just no. Because we
But
have
I believe it doesn't increase your glucose level because it's wheat, right?
no. That's carbo. That's carbo. Wheat also considers carbo. Tell me I'm.
Back to the healthy plate.
It's just so difficult to live with diabetes. Oh my God, I feel so sorry.
Please, not difficult.
It's not difficult.
Not difficult.
Challenging.
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 Good.
It is
It's a
challenging.
good way
Okay,
to
so
say.
so our beloved Indomie shouldn't go for diabetes people.
If you put the vegetables and the protein with the portion that is still match with the healthy plate, just go ahead.
So, Dr. Lita has been mentioning healthy plate.
Yeah.
It's actually a guidelines from our Ministry of Health on what you should eat in one sitting, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So that's actually the guidelines from the Ministry of Health. So you've been mentioning about a healthy plate in each meal.
Each
dinner and sahur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So what time can people with diabetes have dinner in this case after iftar?
Still.
As soon after iftar, they could actually go for dinner.
Okay. So, you know, this is carbo, but what about this fried food? It doesn't increase the glucose level. How much you can take for a person with diabetes?
Person with diabetes will not have increasing blood glucose after eating tempe or tofu because they only have a little amount of carbs in it.
Right.
But if the cooking process of this is by frying, deep frying, so they need to limit. How much is the limitation? It's a bit difficult to say about the limitation because it also goes with the, it's very different with the body size, age, yeah. But if you want to have safe portion, yeah, just having 1 or 2 maximum.
The less is better actually for this.
Yeah.
Doc, but
less is better.
there are, you know, many types of carb, right? With the high glucose like white rice or porridge as you mentioned, and maybe wheat with instant noodle. But there are brown rice, shirataki,
good.
Pasta, and maybe muesli, right?
Yeah.
Granola. What about them? What about these types of carbs?
Okay, so
although they also consist of fiber, but they somehow still have carbs, right?
Of course, they are carbs. So the food source of carbohydrate can be from the whole grains or the refined grains.
Okay.
If we say whole grains, so this type of carbohydrate also having a higher fiber and vitamin and minerals such as, like you said, muesli, granola, and then brown rice, oats, quinoa, corn. They are whole grain. They are safe when you have in a certain amounts. Still in a certain amounts because the problem with diabetes is about the carbohydrate metabolism. Okay. So we have a whole grain and also we have a refined grains. Refined grains means white rice, pasta, noodles, white bread, which is this type of grains having minimum to no fiber in it. So it will make the metabolism of the carbohydrate making, when we eat it, it will increase your blood sugar more than if you take the whole grains. Okay, so is it safe to say that people with diabetes, whether type 1 or type 2, they have to have a better or even a very good knowledge of ingredients of food that they will eat? Yes, and also about the combination of the food. Okay, you have to remember that people with diabetes, you have to be, in this case, knowledgeable of the food that you eat, and also being a mindful eater. Yes. Am I right? Yes. Dr. Juwalita, thank you so much for being here. It is very an eye-opening knowledge when it comes to diabetes, and also if it also we'll link it with the upcoming Ramadan, and also people who are actually trying to pay their due to their religion, in this case fasting period. When I was performing my diet pescatarian, I thought it was one of the most challenging times in my life, but turns out that becoming people living with diabetes, it's much more challenging. True. So you have to be really concerning and very selective in choosing your food. While we, as a non-diabetic person, if we do our diet and we still complain about it, then you have to slap your own face. Don't complain about if you are dieting, because there are many people out there with diabetes who live much challenging than this.
Right, so see the stories. We'll continue after the break. Dr. Juwalita, thank you once again, where we will talk about some moments from the 2024 Academy Awards. So please stay tuned. Terima kasih dok.
Sama-sama.